We lie, you know we lie. My stream is live. I'm here, everybody. Don't worry. Just giving people a little bit of time to jump in with me. We're about to hit the 1 minute mark. Let's make sure we say something. Blink. Figure that out later. Looks like my Twitch chat stream is acting a little weird, but that's okay. Add that loop. There we go. Live on Facebook, live on Twitch, live on YouTube. Because I'm not entirely too sure why I'm on YouTube, but it's there. So if you'd like and can't watch the entirety of this stream, you can always go back and watch my shows on YouTube. It's a handy dandy little thing to do. We're going to give it just about 2 more minutes and then we'll jump into the full-on stream. Hope everybody's having a marvelous Miniature Monday. Very excited to be here. There's just so much going on in the world today. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here with you fine people, painting miniatures, talking about tabletop games, and not worrying about anything for the next hour. Having a good old time. Maybe I'll worry about getting this paint scheme right. I'm very intimidated by what I'm painting today, but it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, sure. Again, if you're watching, I'm very thankful for you guys being here watching me. It means a lot. If you can't hear me, please let me know. Hey Alan, hey Greg, thanks for jumping in. We're getting started pretty soon. Don't worry. We got a lot of stuff to go over today. Y'all heard me cough into the mic. It was an accident this time. Drink the drinkable water, not the pink water. Alright, 10-second countdown. Beep boop doo. Beep boop doo doo doo. Beep boop doo 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 doo. Alright, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Big Bad Nerd Dad stream. Very excited to be streaming this week. This will be 2 weeks in a row straight. 2023 is looking pretty good. So we'll be streaming about Marvel Crisis Protocol, talking about Monster Hunter World, the board game. I am very excited about VHS, Very Horror Story RPG. Also very excited about Metroscape. It's another RPG that's coming out. Very interested in. And I've had the opportunity to play several games with my good friend Joe, who will be starting up in the next few weeks uh, with streaming with me on Joe versus Schmo, where my good friend Joe will face me in different one-on-one games: Magic the Gathering, Soulforge Fusion, Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we're going to talk our way through the games and just show you how average run-of-the-mill, non-competitive players play a lot of these competitive games for fun. That's what we're here for. And then if you want to kick it up a notch, maybe later down the line, I'll have a few more people uh, that are competitive players come on the stream and talk about, hey, this is how you kick your game up a notch. This is how you make your way in the gaming community. But let's go ahead and show you what we'll be working on today. Very excited to see what we got to pop. We will be painting Craven the Hunter from Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've already assembled him. He did not come assembled. These little guys come in quite a few pieces. As you can see, he's got his little tactical rock. He's jumping off a sign that says, "Danger, do not feed the animals." Very thematic. Marvel Crisis Protocol, of course, is produced by Atomic Mass Games, and they have done a phenomenal job of making beautiful miniatures and a very well thought out, dynamic war game. It's a war game. It plays like a board game. Very simple. I think the biggest plus for me is that there is no measuring tool. There is no ruler to measure. Right. Each character lets you know, hey, it has a short movement, it has a medium movement, it has a long movement, and then there are special movement templates that are in the core set that they give you, and they're not made from cardboard. They're made from a very sturdy plastic, and it helps the game move along faster. It helps the game flow easier. That way you're not like, oh, I don't know if I can move here or here. It's literally a straight bar, and then it can bend in the middle so that you can make turned movements. Very, very fun. Very, very easy. Perfect for ease of use. You could teach a little kid to play the game, and you tell them, hey, this is what you use for this. This is what this means. Very simple. Me and Joe picked it up very easily, and so we're very excited to play this. We've been playing it once a week for the past 3 weeks now. Sometimes twice a week. We're trying to do it every Tuesday and Thursday off the stream. But we do plan on streaming the game eventually. And that's another talking point for us. I need to write these things down. Another talking point is going to be our 24-hour stream that'll be coming up. Our first 24-hour stream that'll be coming up this year, benefiting suicide prevention. And then we're also going to be talking about our long-term goal for a charity, the Full Heal Foundation. We'll be going back into that this year. It's a very big thing on my heart that I want to do is to create a charity that's for gamers, run by gamers, for gaming events. I was very sad when we stopped having MagCon, the Madabot Gaming Convention here in Houston, Texas, technically New Caney. And it benefited a local school, and it was just a bunch of gamers that got together to raise money for a local school. Because we see these things very few and far between, but they're out there. There's tons and tons of gamers out there that want to volunteer this way, that have a passion for volunteering this way. And in all honesty, if you want to volunteer, there's a way for you to volunteer. Anybody can do it. All you have to do is have the want to do it. And I know that there are plenty of gamers out there that want to do it this way. So without much further ado, we're going to be painting Craven the Hunter. I'm going to go ahead and give you a different angle on this model. So as you can see, Craven is a very beautiful model, very dynamic. He's jumping, he's raising his knife, he's ready to sink that blade into Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or some other good guy. Like I said before, I was a little intimidated to paint him. Light around. I was a little intimidated to paint him simply because a lot of these characters are iconic, right? Venom, Spider-Man, you know what their suits look like. You know what they're supposed to look like. So if you mess these up, if you deviate a little bit from it, at least I felt that it wouldn't do the model justice. But I found that there are tons of players out there that have just been doing all kinds of uh, alterations to the models, giving them different paint schemes, using green stuff and clay to remodel the models and make them look different and fit to what they want to play with. And I think that that's fantastic. It's a big part of the hobby for me in painting and modeling and getting these little guys to look exactly how you want them to look. And so Marvel Crisis Protocol at first had this stigma for me that, oh man, they're iconic pieces. You don't want to deviate, but no, you can absolutely deviate. I'm not going to deviate because I really do want them to be as close to comic book accurate as possible. I of course am colorblind, so I'll be painting these the way that I want them to be painted, the way I like the color schemes that I like. Uh, so for Craven, we're going to do a very basic Craven-y look. Saw this on Facebook somewhere and was like, you know what? That's exactly what I want to try and go for. I'll paint him exactly like that, or close to it. And we'll just go from there. So again, we'll be using our Pro Acryl paints from Monument Hobby. These little things are fantastic. That's a ton of paint for a good price. They come in these dropper bottles, so they're easy to manipulate and put the paint out for. I can do just a few drops. Again, my good friends got me a wet palette for Christmas. I just haven't had the time to sit down and practice with it and paint and use it. I promise, guys, Joe and Hannah, I'm going to bust out that wet palette here pretty soon. I'm trying to get more and more confident in using it. Water. Stay hydrated, very important. The Pro Acryl line of Monument Hobbies paints has a little bearing on the inside of it. Oh, I think it's a glass bead actually. A glass bead on the inside of it. So it mixes the paint better. And I'm not much of a blending painter, so we're going to paint all of these bits and pieces of Craven one color at a time. It's just easier for me to do. Boop, 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 boop. Get a nice bright orange. I want that. I want that nice bright orange for Craven because my Venom model is dark, muted. My Carnage model is kind of a bright red, but I put a lot of oily effects on him, so it's still kind of dark. I'm going to paint his white pants orange. And again, these Monument Hobby paints just flow so wonderfully. Not gummy. Give that great pigmentation. They give me the coverage I like. Hey Derek, thanks for watching, brother. I really appreciate you popping in just for a little bit. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm currently painting Kraven the Hunter from Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's a war game produced by Atomic Mass Games. And again, I've been painting for about 2023. I've been painting for 13 years now. Are there paints out there for a beginner? Joe, yes, absolutely. These paints. These paints are perfect for a beginner. I never recommend using the Walmart general acrylic paints that you can buy from Hobby Lobby or uh, Walmart, just off the shelf. I highly recommend going to a local game store like Space Cadets Gaming or Etten Games. Etten Games. Um, the popularity of tabletop board gaming has really put board game stores on the map. So they're all over the place. But these, I highly recommend these. These are fantastic. They do not dry out fast. Um, they flow really well. They come in this nice little dropper bottle, so you don't have to put a ton of paint in there. Also, you can close it right up. You don't have to worry about the paint drying out on you. See that? I'm gonna paint his white pants orange. I'm gonna be careful with my layering. I don't want to paint something and then come back to it too quick because it might lift the old paint off first. I'm just gonna give a good brush around. Fortunately, Craven has little bits to his outfit. But these Pro Aquarel paints from Monument Hobbies are fantastic. I used to exclusively paint with uh, war paints from Army Painter. I think these are fantastic too. They flow really good, not nearly as well as these Pro Aquarel. They're in a dropper bottle, which I prefer, so that I can just drop the amount of paint that I need onto my palette. There is no bead on the inside, so when the paint sits for a long period of time and separates, you have to sit there and shake it for a good while. That's one of the drawbacks of the Army Painter is that there's no bead included in glass bead or bearing included in it. Right, so we're going to paint his vest a little bit, just a little bit more. But I highly recommend these Pro Acro from Monument Hobbies. Great paints. I was at a I was at Board and Brew Gaming here in Houston, Texas, for a hobby night, and I brought my army painter. And a good friend of mine was like, "No, no, 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 no! Try these paints, and you'll never paint with anything else again." I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't have the money to get an entirely new paint collection." But fortunately, it was really close to my birthday, so I tried them, loved them, and then picked the base set. And the base set came with a ton of paints, and it's well worth it. I'm gonna get inside the little nooks and crannies. As you can see, we've gotten most of the pants. Right here. Carefully. I really like this little, this used to have yogurt in it. At the very bottom, along the edges, there's like little bitty ridges. Rub my brush against it and get the brush nice and clean. Very carefully take the water off. Napkins. Then I am going to, that middle bit, that loinclothy bit, I want to do a golden yellow. And again, these Pro Acro paints, you can hear it. Oh, thanks, Joe. All right, so that's a fantastic question. What kind of primer do I use? It is actually a two primer process. When I prime my miniatures, I use a black primer first to completely cover the miniature, right? A nice flat. Hey, Joe, thanks for liking the stream. Woo! If you're watching, please like the stream. You can see my little animated guy. I use a very flat black to do a very light prime. And then I get another flat white primer, and I'll hit it at an angle. It's called Zenthal highlighting. So you paint it completely black, and then from a 45-degree angle, you take the miniature and then very lightly over the entire model, so that you get these. You can see these details. And if you turn them upside down, you can see where parts of them are still dark or black from the original primer, and that will help you to see a lot more of the details when you're painting this kind of stuff. Also, if you're using good paints that have a good pigmentation to it, that the pigments will flow and get into the crevices, it'll help bring out more of the details when you're looking at that kind of stuff. So, this yellow. Gonna give me a little drop of yellow. I just need a little bit of yellow. I have no idea. Because I'm not doing a lot of work. I am not wasteful. I want these paints to last me as long as possible. But although they were a good deal, paints can be expensive. And I am a big bad nerd dad. I have big bad nerd kids, a beautiful big bad nerd wife, and big bad nerd bills. So we gotta make sure that we save all of our money and use it accordingly. But thank you, Joe. That's a very good question. Highlighting is different for each person, and it's also going to be different for each model. Sometimes you just want to prime it all black. Sometimes you just want to prime it all white, depending on how you're trying to paint the model. So something that I've learned is that if you're painting a metallic model, I play a lot of war games, and so like giant war machines or Gundams and things like that, you'll just prime them black and then paint the metallic colors right over that black, and it'll help those metallic colors pop. If you're trying to speed paint or paint very fast and get through something, you can prime them just completely white and then grab some of these technical paints that will literally do all the painting for you. The contrast paints from GW. I don't believe Pro Acro has contrast paints or speed paints just yet. Army Painter just came out with some really nice speed paints, contrast paints. You prime the model white, you throw the paint on there real quick, it paints the model, it washes the model, and it shades the model all in one quick step. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it. And it's great for batch painting very, very large amounts of models. Make sure I'm getting it on camera, you great big goo. No, speed paint is for that style of. Good question. Joe's over on Facebook, so you're not seeing his questions. If you're on Twitch, Joe just asked, does speed paint just mean it dries faster? No. Speed paints are exactly what I said before. They're a contrast paint. They're a very technical paint in that they do three things at once. They have normal paint coverage. They wash the model for you, and I'll show you washing in just a little bit. And then they also shade the models for you. They're different steps for a painter, and they do all that for you in one easy breezy, beautiful, bam, step. Paint. That's what I said. Pretty soon I'll be having to do a huge batch of zombies. My wife got in uh, Zombicide, Undead or Alive, and it came with like hundreds and hundreds of zombies. And so we'll be batch painting those zombies and speed painting them, priming them all white, and then just washing them out with a black or gray wash, and then highlighting them, and then washing them again. Getting them out of here. Hey, hey, Miss Val. Yes. Sabrina's very much still into gaming. That's the Zombicide Undead or Alive is her game. I'm just gonna be painting the models to help her. She loves Zombicide. There's a lot of you that are watching me doing this thinking, man, how is he getting in there? The brush. The brush is doing all the work. The right brush for the right job. As you can see, my hands are a little shaky, so I've learned several different techniques to help with that. The major one is that I try and get multiple points of contact on the table and myself in the model. I no longer hold the model by the base or the model itself. I find something else to manipulate and give me better angles on it so that my hand isn't just holding this, it has something better to hold on to. And that greatly helps. We're going to wash the brush out again. Give this brush a rest. I'm going to pick up a different brush to paint the furs. And I want to do this in two steps. So his fur on this, I'm going to do a very light golden brown. And again, I love these Pro Acryl paints because they have that little glass bead in there. They mix very well. They're very, very fluid. Yeah, I've painted the pants and loincloth. I'm about to move on to the furs, and then I'll paint his flesh tones. And then I'll start working on the darker colors like his boots, the bricks that he's standing on, the sign. And then I do the base last. Right. Okay. Now we're going to take this golden brown. Golden brown. And I'm going to lightly paint this fur. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with a flesh wash, a brown wash, go back over it, and then dry brush it again to get those deep details in this fur. While we're doing this, I'll talk about our first 24-hour charity stream that we'll be doing. Um, we didn't do any last year because I wasn't in a good state of mind, and it takes a lot to run these 24-hour streams. Um, Making sure the cameras are in the right place, making sure that there's always a game going on, trying to have as little downtime as possible, even though everybody's got to eat. We do it at my house, so I have people coming and going, coming and going. Gotta find a babysitter for 24 hours to watch my big bad nerd brats, which isn't a problem. My in-laws are amazing, and my mom has helped us several times as well. Right. So the first part of this is done. Got a little bit of fur right here on this bracelet. That's gonna get hit with an ivory. His wraps on his forearms. I'm gonna hit him with an ivory. So our first 24-hour stream will be coming up Memorial Day weekend. I'm very excited because, again, we didn't do anything last year. I just needed to take a break, but I am gung ho, ready to come back. We'll be raising money for suicide prevention, so I'll be looking for a specific uh, charity in the Houston area to team up with to raise money for, raise donations, and all of the donations go to the charity. I want to paint his spear and knife necks. Yes, for the stream, I'm wanting to. So we were supposed. I love doing. I don't know what it is. I love doing undead themed, horror themed 24-hour streams, right? So we've got tons of different things coming in. But I want to switch it up this time around, and I want to do big budget games, right? So I want to do probably a lot of Camp Cop games, and Marvel vs. Street Fighter. Street Fighter, the Marvel Crisis Protocol. I will be getting in the Monster Hunter World from Capcom board game. Uh, we played a game called Exceed that has a ton of IPs in it. Maybe the Universal Fighting System. What is that new one that just came out? Dice Throne. Dice Throne has a Marvel set, so maybe we'll play that. I want to do a lot of games that will get a lot of attention this time around. Last time we did it, I played all of my favorite games, and anytime we do a 24-hour stream on Black Friday, which is generally my birthday, we'll be playing the games that I want to play. So We played East Texas University. We'll play Tiny Dungeon. We'll play Zombicide. Things of that nature. I want to play those kind of things. Marvel Crisis Protocol is going to be on there. I don't know if I'm going to do a big tournament or if I'm just going to have a real quick. That's not too dark. I'll just go back in. I like with the lighter. For sure, Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'll lose on. You will lose on stream. I hate to say this, but I am currently undefeated playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. I am 3-0, and I've won one PVE event where me and my partner won. So I'm technically undefeated in Marvel Crisis Protocol. There's not a lot of people that can say that right now. It's a very, very good game. Lots of players. But I don't think I'm going to lose on stream. Am I willing to make a wager? Quite possibly. Alright, so I painted that spearhead a dark metal. And then I'll come back and dry brush it to give it a little bit of a lighter color. I've got a lot of friends and family that like to participate in the 24-hour streams. So, of course, first and foremost, I have to have my big bad nerd fam there. They're the people that I game with regularly. They've been helping me promote the stream, the 24-hour streams. They've made donations to help me get my camera set up, help me with getting the stream and everything put together so that it looks good. So the Big Bad Nerd fam will be there. And then we'll have a few new faces that I plan on bringing in. Have a good time with us. And I think I'm ready to do flesh. We're going to do his flesh. I'm going to switch back to the finer tip brush. I have a tan flesh. I'm going to shake that up real good. Looking really good so far. I'm very excited to get my Monster Hunter World board game in. I've been waiting for this game for months. Months and months and months and months. And the miniatures are humongous, like ridiculously large. They did a very good job of scaling the game. That's more than enough. Another thing too, I love these paints because you just really need a drop. A little drop will do you. Put in some of this light umber. Umber. Let me shake it up so it don't come spilling out. Painting Craven the Hunter. I feel like he's looking pretty good. Just a little bit of this light under. Gotta concentrate while I'm mixing this paint. So very excited for Monster Hunter World. I definitely want to do an RPG. Um, I love I love all RPGs. I know the name of this stream was "Hear Me Out." Dungeons and Dragons is overrated, and I have been feeling that way for the past few years. That there are a lot of different systems out there that people don't know about because they're overshadowed by Dungeons and Dragons. And there's nothing wrong with Dungeons and Dragons. I know the title says it's overrated, but there's just so many other types of games out there, so many other different types of systems and settings that you're doing a disservice to yourself if you don't look it up and try it out. Alright, so now I'm going to paint his fleshy parts. So his face, his little ears. I'm going to try and stay away from his facial hair. In fact, I need to put in a request for those days off ahead of time. I love scheduling. I love being like, all right, I'm taking these days off. And my boss is like, why are you scheduling time off 6 months in advance? Because I want to make sure that I get those days off. And I'm going to prepare for it, for that long haul. And if I put it on the calendar, then that makes me get ready for it, right? It's an event. It's coming up. I gotta get ready. I gotta get the models ready. I gotta get the players ready. You just set a good example. Cool. Look, missed the sight of his body and his back. Right, it's really coming together. I think he's looking pretty good. All right, so the title of the stream is "Hear Me Out." D&D is overrated, and I want to talk about that for a little bit because I honestly think that there are so many different settings and systems that don't get enough attention, and that people really need to try. So I'm first going to start off with Tiny Dungeon. Tiny Dungeon is a rules light system that I believe is fantastic. It's what I've taught my daughter how to play. When I go teach people how to play RPGs, I use Tiny Dungeon because it's so quick and fast and simple to pick up things. It's just an easier system to use than D&D Fifth Edition, any edition of D&D. Um, it comes in a bunch of different flavors. So if you want sci-fi, if you want fantasy, if you want Wild West, modern superheroes, the Tiny D6 system is the way to go. I'm gonna get in here with some light umber. The light umber is what I used along with the tan flesh to give him a little bit of a darker flesh tone. I'm gonna drop a little bit more of that. We're gonna use that for all of his major leathers. So his boots, a couple of the wraps on his forearms, all the pouches on his belt. I'm just gonna give that a once over. Get some good coverage in there. And then we're gonna come back over this with a brown wash. Since this light umber isn't very dark, that brown wash will bring out a bunch of the details and make things a whole lot more easier to see. And then after that brown wash is dried, we'll go back over again with light umber uh, and a little bit of the tan flesh or a dry brush to give those details even more pop. I'm going to be as careful as possible with those pants. Red orange pants. Take this brown. And again, this is a very dynamic pose. I really like this Craven the Hunter. He's literally leaping across the board. I think it looks fantastic. Gotta paint his pouches. Switch my brush. I need something a little bit more controlled. This flat tip. Go back to my thinner brush. Another RPG system that I like to use is Savage Worlds. It's a little bit crunchier than Tiny Dungeon, and that's to be expected. I mean, Tiny Dungeon is as rules light as they come. Um, but it's just enough mechanics and dice rolling to give people a little bit more feeling of this is what I thought RPGs feel like. Still very, very narrative driven. They want to tell epic stories. The game is geared towards having the players be on more of an epic scale so they can do cooler things. He has this little armband around his arm. I'm gonna try and get that as easy as possible. A little bit higher, big dopey. Greg, thanks for watching, brother. A couple of these little things on his chest. We'll come back and reverse those. Take the handle of his kukri blade. Then, and then, this shaft of his spear. All the way around. I don't want to leave any white spots so nobody makes fun of you. When you go to play somewhere and they're like, you missed the spot. Yuck. Here we go. Okay, really coming together. I'm going to use this light umber to paint these little weird looking leopard designs on his pants. I feel like I should be going darker. So I have the light umber. I'm going to add a drop of the dark umber to it. Because I don't want the dots to just be, or the spots to just be black. I don't think I've opened this one yet. Mazel tov. Upper loop. Because I haven't opened this one yet, it's got plenty of paint on the inside of that lid. Use that paint. paint just random little spots all over his pants. And paint random little dips and dobs. Give it like a leopardish feel. Okay. Really like that. Now I'm going to paint his forearm wraps with this bright warm gray. Thank you for liking the stream, Sabrina. She's crying, she's funny. A lot of people may be like, no, that's not the color that his wraps are. This is the color that I want his wraps to be. Right. Go back in with this. Oops. Right. Okay. Getting closer and closer. Now, I'm going to take my dark warm gray. I'm going to take my dark warm gray, paint his hair, and start painting the base. Mm. Craven the Hunter is not a young man. I'll be painting his hair this dark gray and putting streaks of lighter gray and white through it. Sorry, paint it on screen, paint it on screen. Gotta paint his goatee. There we go. Yep, I saw Psylocke and Emma Frost, Ice Queen. Ice Queen? Emma Frost. Psylocke and Emma Frost. Also going to be painting his base real quick. The base is simple, you just paint everything gray. Except for those bricks, I got this burnt red, I'm going to paint those bricks. So Psylocke's pretty cool. What was it? It was Olivia Munn. I believe it was Olivia Munn that played her in the movies. And did a good job. But we'll see how they do when they transfer that character over to Marvel Crisis Protocol. In all honesty, every character that I played with is very dynamic, very different. I got to play with Mysterio for the first time the other night. fighting against the unstoppable Colossus with my friend. And I really think I'm going to start bringing Mysterio to our PvP matches, our 1v1 matches. Because he's mean. He's a very mean model. He does all kinds of mean things. Alright, so they've already got Johnny Blaze as the Ghost Rider. I can't possibly imagine them bringing another Ghost Rider in just yet. Simply because one drives a Dodge Charger and the other one has a motorcycle. 2 motorcycles on the field would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. But that's another thing that I think that Marvel Crisis Protocol has done very well with the game is that they haven't put out just the most popular characters. They put out tons of what I feel like are obscure characters that you wouldn't normally see or think of. Like they did the Inhumans, they did. I know X-23 and Honey Badger are kind of big right now, but they put them out. Really glad that they put Black Cat in the game. I think they did a pretty good job throwing her in. Haven't played with her, don't know much about her game wise, but I'm sure they've done a very good job with her roles as they have with the rest of the characters. Brush is too wet. Paint these bricks. Spider Pig and Spider Noir would be pretty cool. I'm sure that once Into the Spider-Verse 2 drops, or Across the Spider-Verse is what they're calling it. Once Across the Spider-Verse drops, they'll be putting out more of those Web Warriors. They're very big right now. On stream, painted on stream. I know. Pick it up so you can see. We are almost done with this model. And I don't know if I'm going to paint Mysterio on stream next week, or if I should paint Lizard on stream next week. So if y'all guys want to vote on it, I'll put up a vote to see who I should paint next on stream. I'm leaning heavily towards Mysterio. I still find the Lizard a little daunting. But that's okay. He will get painted eventually. Right, I'm a bronze for that danger. Do not feed animals sign. Alright, Joe, you think Lizard would be cool? I'm gonna put a vote up on the Big Bad Nerd Dad Facebook page, and we'll share it and see what we can get. Should I paint the Lizard? Should I paint Mysterio? Because once I paint Mysterio, it's gonna be all over. Mysterio is such a mean character. I'm sure Mysterio is going to take me to 5-0. On stream, on stream. I know. So, pretty much all but done. I'm gonna add a few washes here and there. Won't matter who you bring. That's Joe from Joe vs. Schmo. Talking smack with his while I'm 3-0. He's ready for a win. Poor guy. This is why that last bead slash bearing in the bottle is so good, necessary. Alright, cool. Joe is hungry for a win, which is really bad for you, Joe, because I'm picking up Rhino this weekend. The Big Bad Nerd Mom has already given me the okay to get a model. Picking up Rhino to finish out my Spider Foes and Criminal Syndicate list. Ooh, baby. It's going to be mean. We're throwing people left and right. We're giving you a little bit of the old razzle dazzle. That blip. We're using a lot of shadow wash for this. Yeah. I took Army Painter Shadow Wash. It's called Shadow Wash, but it's actually just a dark tone. Let me just put it where I want it to be darker. It gives me the edging and highlights that I need. Good. Good. When I put it in just the right spot, it'll just work its way into the nooks and crannies. I'll put a little bit on the base to make it look dirty. Just I also had a lot of my coworkers talk about wanting to play Frostgrave. So we'll be getting back into Frostgrave this year. I have all the terrain. I have all of the miniatures I need for it. So now that I found a bunch of willing players, it'll be 10 times as fun. Take some of this brown wash his wraps with it, give a little bit more definition in all the little details. Not too much. Fingers. Hands. Now we gotta get this flesh wash. Because he has quite a bit of exposed flesh, I'm gonna get this painted up. I'm just gonna hit the recessed areas on his flesh. He has his abs. They're gonna work out. Face. This. Midsection. Put it on his back. Get his muscly arms. I'm going to use this flesh wash on his fur and make all the little furry bits pop out a little bit more. And then I'm going to go back over and dry brush. And we can do some shadow wash. on his boots. Better wash on his boots. Make all the details pop. So, better wash on bronze piece that says do not feed the animals. There we go. That's really good. I am very, very happy with this. Hey, thanks, CJ. I'm trying my hardest. Jesse, thanks for popping in, giving me a few views and a like. Yay, Jesse, thank you for giving me a like. I've got friends. Yay! You're here. Just line out his loincloth a little bit. Blip, blip. Oh, yeah. He's going to play real good now. Joe, you better watch out. All right, and I said I was going to do some bright, okay, bright one right there. Little bright one. Dry brushing on his hair. Just on the sides a bit. Dry brush that mane. And we finish it off like we always finish it off. Okay, old man. Hey, Marvel Snap is a lot of fun. Me and Joe were in the beta for that. It can get pretty addicting. Very simple, quick and easy gameplay. Marvel Snap is a mobile game. It's kind of like an in between for Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering. Very simple area control game, but with cards. Everything's card based, so you can like put 4 different Marvel characters at each location, and you're trying to get as many points on each location as possible to control each point. and each character does something different and has these awesome different effects. We played for a good while. What was I going to do? Oh, paint the base. So I'm going to finish off the model like I do every single model by painting the base. But again, these Pro Acryl Monument are amazing paints. Very fluid. Don't need a lot. I usually just do one drop to get me through a good portion of the model. Paint on stream, I know. Paint the edge of that so that it looks nice and clean. Yes, CJ, this is for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I have to say, Joe, the guy in the Facebook chat, if you're watching on Twitch, there's a conversation going on Facebook, but this is for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Joe got me the core set over a year ago for my birthday, November of 2021, and we didn't play our first game until the beginning of this year. And I am so angry at myself for not playing this game sooner. It is a very fun, very simple war game. You do not need a tape measure. The dice are simple and easy to read. Each model is different, dynamic, and can change the entire layout of your team. Alright, and I do not have it here, but he's got like these little feathers on his spear tip. No, I haven't seen The Last of Us yet. I don't have HBO Max, but my coworker watched it on his lunch break today, and he was like, "Mike, you gotta watch it. They did such a good job." I've only heard good things about The Last of Us, the TV show, so I'm very excited. I'm always happy when people feel like something that they love has like they're it's being true to it. I know they changed a few things of it, but The Last of Us is supposed to be getting very high critiques. On stream, painted on stream, Ramirez. Make sure everybody can see. I'm painting his little feathers blue. And then I'm going to go back and paint some feathers red. And I'm going to go back and paint some feathers yellow. And then he has beads on there. I'm going to paint those beads black. Actually, I'll just get a wash. Get some of this dark wash. Paint those beads with a dark wash. Black. Oh. There's a little bit too much water on there. That's okay. There are no mistakes. Happy accidents we can fix. So again, real quick, I want to thank my sponsors, Space Cadets Gaming, for always having a good time in the greater Houston area, for having me out to run games and playing all my favorite stuff. And then also a huge shout out to the Aegis Creative Company for sponsoring all of my terrain, tons of the games that I do for my charity streams, and for always being there for me as a friend and family. They've done a very good job of being good people. Looks like I used up all that yellow, so I'll get just a little drop of yellow. And again, you can pick up any of these Monument Hobby Pro Acryl paints online. I highly recommend you go to a friendly local game store like Space Cadets Gaming or Board and Brew. You pick up your special model paints. Don't just buy regular acrylic paints from Walmart. They will not do. See that? You can't see that. A little bit brighter. There we go. More down here. Give it some color. I don't know what color it was supposed to be, but I want it to be vibrant. So that when I'm flinging my spear at somebody, they can be like, oh no! I have brick red right here. Again, if you're coming in late, I know that some of y'all said you came in late. You can always find my stream here on Facebook, on Twitch, and then they disappear after a few days on Twitch and Facebook. But I'm also multi-streaming to YouTube. So you can always find me on all my old streams on YouTube. Go back, check out, look for this stream in specific. Hear me out. D&D is overrated. Tell your friends. Tell them I'm cute. There. And Craven the Hunter will now join the ranks of the rest of my painted fighter foes. Ta-da! Craven the Hunter, Carnage, Venom, Doc Ock, and the Green Goblin. This is my mainstay. This is what I usually bring when I play Marvel Crisis Protocol. Of course, I will be putting in Mysterio. Can you even see Mysterio? Back that up. I'm going to start filling in, or rotating in Mysterio, the Lizard. Joe made the mistake of getting me the Kingpin for Christmas. Taskmaster. I have Ultron painted up, and I know that there's a lot of professional players, competitive players, that say that Ultron goes fantastic in the Spider Ghost crew, but it is not thematic enough for me. So this weekend I will be picking up the Rhino, so that'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more miniatures to paint and finish out my Spider Foes / Criminal Syndicate list. Me and Joe will be playing on stream here probably in the next month or two once we've gotten more comfortable with the rules and we don't feel like we're fudging a lot of things. I would like to take the time to once again thank everybody for watching me, for coming on out and chatting in the chat, liking. All of this helps me get a little bit of exposure so that I can continue to do this and hopefully find some more sponsors. I'm very grateful for my current sponsors, Space Cadets Gaming and the Aegis Creative Company. And I look forward to working with even more gaming partners. And of course, we're looking for a charity, suicide prevention in the Houston or Greater Houston area for this quarter's 24-hour charity stream. So again, thank y'all guys so much for watching. I had a really great time painting up Craven the Hunter. Next week, I'm going to leave it up to the group, my Facebook fans. I'm going to put a Facebook poll up to see, will we paint the Lizard next, on next Monday, or will we paint Mysterio? So Thank you very much for watching. I love you all very much. Please stay safe and remember walls ahead, rubble